Hey guys, welcome back to Creating Your Space. It is your host, Aaliyah, and welcome to today's podcast. So, in today's podcast, we will be talking about something that is going to help a lot of you who are about to start high school, or who are in high school, or who are about to go to college. And it's really going to help any one of you who have been struggling with the whole high school experience, and maybe you don't feel content with it, or maybe like you're going into high school and you're having all these expectations of what it's going to be like. And we're going to be talking about like why the portrayals of high school in media aren't really, and they honestly don't prepare you for the real world at all. In my opinion, trying to achieve the perfect high school experience is toxic because high school is nothing like the real world, and it's such a small world compared to when you go out and you seek your career, or even when you just go to college. It's a way bigger world than what high school is. And I really want to talk about that today. And if you're feeling like you didn't have the best high school experience, I want to talk about why it's toxic to put pressure on yourself to make all these long lasting memories in high school when it's really just 4 years of your life. So, me personally, I didn't really have a high school experience at all. I didn't really have that many friends, alternate between small groups over time, over the years. And then over time, I just kind of like let go of some friends, and then I would gain new friends every year. But I never really was like popular in high school, and I never was in any like kind of sports or like clubs, and I didn't do all those kind of activities to where like I would be interacting with so many different types of people. So honestly, I didn't really have like the most fun high school experience. I even like cut my high school experience 1 year short because I am starting college a year early instead of finishing my senior year, because I honestly like I didn't really feel connected to the people at my school, and I thought it was like the best thing for me to do since I just didn't really enjoy high school that much. I feel like a lot of people say, "Oh, like these are the years that you're going to look back on, and these are the years that are going to be like the footprints to the rest of your life." And people always say like it's really going to set up the rest of who you are and how you're going to live your life. But I feel like none of that is really true. I think for some people it's true. I mean, it's so nice if you are a person who are in all those activities and you do sports, and maybe you're popular and you have a bunch of friends and you can say that you had the best high school experience. It's okay to like look back and be like, wow, like that really was a good time in your life. But if you're a person who looks back and you're just like your whole high school experience is kind of like a blank space, and it's like, like I don't know, like there's something really special about that time in my life. Like that's completely normal too, and it's normal to like have other points in your life be like a really great experience, and it doesn't have to be high school. It doesn't have to be those 4 years, and that's another point. Like high school really is just 4 years of your life. It's not enough time to determine who you're going to be. It's not enough time to learn all these different things, especially when you have to be so focused on like your academics or sports or whatever you're interested in high school. You may not always have the time to focus on the whole experience. Like growing up on Disney Channel, or like any other kids like network, I feel like in all the shows, high school was always seen as like this huge thing, and this huge thing that you had to prepare for, and this huge thing that was literally going to set up the rest of your life, and this thing where like you had to have all these friends. I mean, look at High School Musical. In High School Musical, like literally everybody's so happy, everybody's like having fun with each other. But I feel like when you actually start high school and you go to class every day, like there's not like all this excitement to it. Especially if you're someone who's like in AP classes or taking IB, or taking like college classes or dual enrollment. Like you're gonna be focused on your academics, and you're not gonna have the time to be always hanging out with your friends or going to parties and all that stuff. Any show that shows like teenagers in high school never shows the academic side of it. I feel like academics can take up like 90% of your time for those 4 years, and it's really hard to maintain even like a little bit of a social life along with all the academics and all the homework and assignments and tests that they give you, especially having to go through with the SAT junior year or the ACT, having to apply for college, or not even just that, even applying for jobs when you finish high school if you don't want to go to college, or just setting up your life for after senior year. And that's honestly, it can be a big deal. And I feel like putting in this pressure on yourself to try to romanticize your whole high school experience and pressuring yourself to make all these memories that you can look back on is, there's not many space for that pressure when you already have pressure for so many other things in high school. As I grew up in high school, I realized that everybody is so different. Everybody is interested in different things. Everybody wants to be in a different place when they grow up. Some people don't want to go to college. Some people do want to go to college. Some people want to go in the army. Some people want to be a celebrity. Some people just want to be a writer. Some people want to like be a painter or a doctor or a lawyer or anything. And not everyone is going to have the exact same experience in life. And that's what I started to learn as I grew up. I realized that I didn't have to follow what everybody else wanted to do. I didn't have to follow this agenda because I realized that in the real world and in this huge world that we live in, everybody is different and everybody has different dreams and aspirations. And honestly, like, if you follow what other people want to do or what the majority is doing, I feel like you're never going to be happy in life. Especially if you're doing things that, like, you know, your parents want you to do or what people expect you to do. You're never going to be happy or find like your true passion and what really sets your heart on fire. Like, you're never going to be able to find that one thing that you feel like doing for the rest of your life. So everybody is different, and you start to realize that as you get older. And with that, everybody's experience on high school is going to be different. There's going to be that one person who literally would fall asleep every day in class and had no idea what was going on. And they look back and they're just like, I slept through high school. I don't even remember a thing. There's going to be some people who their whole life was surrounded by being popular and having friends and being all these activities. And, you know, they're going to look back and be like, you know, I really loved high school. Like, I had so many friends. Like, I was prom king or queen or whatever. And, you know, I had a fun time. And I'm here to tell you that, like, both of those scenarios are perfectly okay and perfectly normal. You know, like, you shouldn't ever feel guilt for having any one of those experiences. I recently just started college, like, literally last week. And for me, college is 100 times better than high school, but that's my experience. I wasn't a person who enjoyed high school. I didn't like having 9 periods of classes from 7 to 3 every day. That wasn't a schedule that I could put myself on, and I wasn't really interested in joining the activities that they had at my high school. And I just didn't feel like it was a community that was right for me. I felt like too constricted and I felt like it was really small because some high schools don't really have that many people. But I'm in college now, and even like just from the first week, I feel so much happier and I feel so much eager to learn. Like, it's just the environment that's meant for me. I feel like honestly, everybody in college kind of minds their own business, and I feel like if you really wanted to, you could make friends and talk to people, make your own group. But if you don't want to, like, there's no sort of pressure, you know? Like, there's no like different cliches in college. It's literally everybody's there trying to get their degree and get out, I feel like. And it's literally an option if you want to get involved with activities and stuff. Like, there's no pressure on you to do all of that. And that really, really makes me happy. And it actually makes me want to do activities now that I don't have like the pressure on me to feel like I need to do something. And I feel like by not putting pressure on myself to create a good college experience, I'm already making a good college experience on myself for not like forcing myself to do certain things or like to create certain memories. I'm literally just like going in college day by day and, like talking to whoever and, working on my assignments and just like, enjoying my time there. And I already feel like I'm really creating a healthy and happy environment for myself to learn in. So I will say that at least for me, in my experience, college was 100% better. Like even the assignments don't even compare to what I had in my AP classes. Like the academic side, it's so much easier for me for some reason, and it's so much just like, and I'm a bio major, so that's saying a lot. Yeah, like I will say that college is a lot better. And if you're kind of, stuck in high school, maybe like you're a junior or senior and you're like, ah, I still haven't gotten my high school experience yet. Like, when will it come? Trust me, you will get that experience in college or, even if you go into like a new career, whatever, you're going to get the experience at some point in your life. The couple years in your life where like those are really like the best time of your life. It doesn't have to be high school. And as I said before, it doesn't last forever. I was literally a freshman. It literally feels like I was a freshman 2 days ago. I mean, I feel like my experience was kind of cut short because I did do online school for basically 2 years of high school. Honestly, I still feel like it would have went by fast still. And even like if quarantine didn't happen, I still remember vividly the first day of school, and I literally remember being like, graduation is so far away. And I was like, like I don't even have to think about that because that's so far away. But here I am, next spring, I'm going to be graduating, and it's just crazy to me. And it really does go by very quickly because honestly, when you're so consumed in the schoolwork or whatever activity you're in, the time goes by pretty fast because you're so consumed and you're so busy with something. And before you know it, the whole year is done, and you're like, wow, like, that was quick. That being said, like, it's just 4 years. I feel like that's not enough time to really declare that to be like the best time of your life. And you don't have to feel pressured to complete anything in high school. Like your life isn't going to magically be over the minute that you graduate. Like there's so much better things beyond high school. And it just blows my mind that just 1 week of college kind of like already showed me that. I feel like you're given no independence in high school. And I was always a person who kind of wanted to grow up quickly. And kind of in the sense that like I always just wanted to have independence and I wanted to be able to afford my own things. I just kind of like live my life on my timing. And I feel like college really gives me the opportunity to do that. Your life doesn't magically end right after high school. There's no rush to have this whole experience in a span of 4 years. It's so quick, and I do want to still emphasize again that high school is in no way like the real world. It's nothing like the real world. I literally go to college every day and I learn new things about how the real world actually is. I feel like as you grow up too, like you start to realize that you're capable of so much more, and it's kind of like it's the transition between being a teenager and being an adult is a very confusing but exciting time in your life because I feel like when you're little, you kind of can never imagine yourself being an adult. And you're like, I can't believe that I'm gonna one day have to have my own house or apartment. And I'm gonna have to one day, like, actually have a job. And I'm gonna have to one day, like, do all these things that, like, your parents do or, like, the adults around you do. And it's hard to, like, imagine yourself doing those things, but I feel like as you grow up, you start to realize that there's so much more that you're capable of. You're not just, a little kid. As time goes by, like you realize that you are capable of doing all these things that adults do. And in no time you become an adult, and I feel like life just keeps getting better and better because you get a new sense of independence and you learn so many more things as you get older. You know, being a teenager in itself is such a small world. I feel like your environment as a teenager is very restricted and small, and you're only put in a group of small people, you know, like in middle school and high school, it's so small. And there's only so many experiences that you can have with the select few people that you have at your school. I do definitely want to make an episode about the whole concept of growing up and everything another week because I feel like that is a good topic to touch on. So we will be talking more about that, but it is important when it comes to high school to realize that like you do grow up and you realize so many different things. There's just no place for that pressure to put on yourself. There's no such thing as a high school experience even. I will go as far as to say that because like there's so many different things that you go through each year and with your academics and having to have new responsibilities. It's like how do you even like have the time to be focusing on making all these memories? I feel like if you're focused on creating long lasting memories and experiences, you're never going to give yourself the chance to actually create memories that matter because you're so focused on romanticizing every moment, which is partially what I mentioned earlier. And I want to emphasize that too because not staying in the present moment and just thinking about like your future self and what you'd want to look back on is it's really toxic and it's too much to put on yourself because you no longer live in the present moment. You're either focused on the future or the past. And I mean, how are you going to truly live your life and make memories if you're literally living in a different time? Like, if you're living in the past, how are you going to make new memories in the present moment? If you're living in the future, how are you going to see what's right in front of you and actually take steps to grow and heal and become the person you're meant to be if you're not focused at the time that you're actually in? I did live my life a lot like that, honestly, during high school because I feel like I put a lot of pressure on myself to have everything figured out, and I put a lot of things on myself. So all I was worried about was the future. Even with friendships and relationships, it was just like, what is going to happen in the future? I would always just be like a planner. Like, I'd always want to plan out like years ahead. Even though, like, every single day, new things happen and new opportunities arise that you never thought would have ever came. I mean, I had no idea when I was a freshman that I would ever even move schools or have the chance to graduate from college a year early. And like, you know, if you ask freshman me what I expected my life to be like, right? I probably would have said that I would have had the same friends from freshman year and I would have graduated at the high school I started out with. And I would have the dream of being a doctor and I would probably like say all these plans and dreams that were gonna come with me for the rest of my life. But, you know, I never had the chance to think that like, you know, these dreams and these aspirations are kind of temporary because as you live every day and every month and every year, new things happen and you know, you meet new people and you discover new things. Sometimes like life just takes you in a direction that you never ever thought it would take you. You know, like my friends from freshman year are completely different. I changed schools junior year and I was given this opportunity because I changed schools to graduate from college a year early. I would have never had that opportunity if I didn't change schools. And if I kept in my mind that I had to have this specific plan, which I also talked about in my last podcast, you know, putting pressure on yourself to like have a certain plan. If I put pressure on myself to have a certain plan of like staying at the high school and you know having those same friends, I would never have the dreams and the plans that I have today. And they're so much better than what I had before, honestly. And I feel like I'm in such a better place and I'm so much more happier with what I want to do in my life. And who knows, maybe this will change in a year too. I feel like it's so normal to be changing and growing every day. It's such a big part of life, and that's a big part of the whole life experience, changing and growing. I feel like the one thing that we are promised in life is change. Everything in our life will change at some point, and we always have to be willing to accept that growth and that change because it leads to so many better things. And I feel like in the end, we'll always, be at a place that we're meant to be. And all these new things take us to where our life is meant to be in the end. I also want to mention that I did make an entire video on YouTube about this topic, especially, it's going to be good for you, especially if you are just starting out high school and if you're a freshman or even like if you're starting like a whole new year in high school, like you're a junior at whatever. I think it's really going to help you because it can kind of change your mindset on the way that you see high school, and it could honestly just make things way easier and make the whole change process a lot easier. So I do recommend watching that video on my YouTube channel. My YouTube channel is Aaliyah Space. The video is titled What No One Told You About High School Advice, Especially for Secret Tryhards. I do recommend watching that video, and you can also visit my Anchor podcast website because that has links to all my content on all social media platforms. So I do recommend checking that out because I do talk more about that. And by the way, Aaliyah Space is my handle on all platforms, so you can look that up anywhere. But anyway, yeah, I do want to finish this episode off by saying that you always, and no matter like if it's high school or not, you always have to live in the present moment. And I feel like it's a thing that's easier said than done, because it's so easy to like look back at your past and be consumed by all of it and being consumed by the mistakes that you've made and wanting to fix them and being consumed by the types of people that you had in your life at the time and reflecting on those relationships and just in general just thinking about different situations that may have happened in the past. And I do think that is a completely normal and it's a good healthy thing to do because it can help you grow and it can help you to not make the same mistakes. And the more that you look back at it, the more that you might be able to accept your past and be happy with the experiences that have shaped you. But at the same time, I feel like it can get unhealthy if you're doing it a lot and you're solely just living in that space of time. And the same thing applies to the future. I think it's so good to plan out and to have dreams, but I feel like you shouldn't let that take you too far. You shouldn't have to like plan so many years in the future that like when one thing gets messed up in the present moment, you're like, my whole life is ruined. And that will leave you completely disappointed. It's normal to have different dreams, but I think that you should expand those dreams and don't make them so restricted. And when you're making your plans and your dreams, allow it to have room for new opportunities and other things that you can insert into those dreams. And especially in relationships and friendships, like, and don't put pressure on yourself to have a relationship be a certain way. I am saying that it is good to look back on your past and it is good to see into the future. Most of your time should be spent in the present moment. And you have to live your life looking at what is going on right now, and that is the most important thing. I feel like you truly do start to make a better life experience that way. And life just becomes so much easier when you're more focused on not worrying about what life has to be or what you have to make it out to be. You know what I mean? And you don't have to stress yourself out if things aren't going the way that you want it to or anything like that, because I feel like in the end you'll always be where you're meant to be and you'll always have the experiences that you were meant to have, and the people in your life are gonna be the people that are meant to be. Don't force people to stay in your life. Don't force a career to stay in your life. Don't force anything into your life because everything that is for you will be for you, and everything that you're meant to have will come in time. And that is a very important thing to remember. So, I just want that to kind of like be like a thing as you're going through life, and you're going through different situations and things like that. Like, just remember, like, be focused on the now. Whenever you notice that your thoughts are going to the past or the future, just think about, now is what I should be focused on. I can't be focused on what the end result will be or what the end goal is, because you truly have to enjoy the journey. And once you get to the destination, what is it really going to give you? You know what I mean? The journey is the most important thing. And so when you live your life that way, it's going to make things so much easier and so much better. So always remember, like, not even just like in high school, your experience will always be different from everybody else. There's no one exact experience that you need to have. There's no amount of friends that you need to have in your life. Like, you can't compare your life to somebody else's, because everybody's on their own journey and different things happen for different people at different times. And you really can't go through your life comparing yourself to other people's experiences or other people's success or what other people are going through, because you will get it all on your own timing. And high school doesn't have to be that one place where you get all these experiences and where you get all these fun memories or whatever. It can be any point in your life. So there's no need to put pressure on yourself to achieve the perfect high school experience, because it's not a thing. And that applies for everything else in your life. That applies for college, that applies for your career, honestly, like anything. So I do thank you guys so much for listening to this episode. I really hope that it was enjoyable to listen to and that it helped you in any way. If you want me to talk more about the subject, I can. So just leave me a message on my Anchor website, or you can contact me on my Instagram or any social media my Instagram is Aaliyah's.space, in case you can't find a link. But so yeah, reach out to me if you want to hear more about this, and I can always make personalized episodes, and I will always like be able to DM you back if you need help with anything. So, just let me know, and make sure to check out my other content. Make sure to check out that YouTube video I told you guys about, because I think it will be helpful in regards to this topic. I hope that you guys have a great rest of your week, and I will see you next week for the next episode. I love you guys, and I'll see you later. Bye. Bye, guys.